school board and find out if, in fact, our support was desired. It was not that we recommended that we
Okay.
take a position, but find out more about it, and also to find out that whether or not they even wanted it. Jokingly, it was remarked that perhaps they don't want our support because they want to see it go forward. So we asked Mr. Kaler to do this, and apparently from what you said, you have contacted them?
Yes, and they said that they would like our support.
Okay, and there are issues that perhaps the board needs to be further informed about in connection with it?
In the community standpoint, it's contentious, but I'll have to get some more information.
Right.
Okay, Supervisor Pinches?
Is there any state legislator out there proposing to address the lost sales tax revenue through internet sales?
I don't know. I can find out and get back to you on that.
Well,
one.
if there's not, I think that's a real issue. Well, it should be an issue for every county in the state, but, you know, I mean, it's, the internet sales is really, first of all, if I was a realtor, a retailer out there, and say, for instance, in this county, that had a shoe store, and had to go through all the business licenses and the whole process and filling out sales tax forms and everything, and then a guy can sell his shoes over the internet and not have to go through any of that process, I would be incensed with that. You know, it's just fair taxation. But you'd think with the revenue shortfalls at the state, that one of our 40 state senators or assembly members would propose, because this last Christmas season, internet sales, just this Christmas season sales, were 40% greater than the previous year. So that just tells you how much internet sales are growing, and that's cutting into our sales tax revenues. That's one of the reasons our sales tax revenues are flat, is because we're losing a big portion. So if there's no senator or assembly member out there that wants to address this, I think it should be a legislative priority and get Peterson working on it for us, or somebody's got to move this forward.
Okay.
Can you report back to us on that?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'll do a web search and see if there's a bill number or that takes up internet sales, and report back to you on what those bill numbers are and what they say.
Supervisor Smith?
Thank you. So to move this along, I would suggest if the board would consider endorsing and supporting SB 1516, the library construction bonds, and to Supervisor Delbar's comments, I don't think we need to do anything on the Potter Valley School District. Mr. Kaler did what we asked him to do, which is, you know, he got more information. We don't need to take a position. Just leave it at that.
I concur.
That's fine. It's 3. 4. Supervisor Delbar, you agree?
I'd like to.
Review it?
I'd like to review more on the bond. At this point, it sounds great, but, you know, there's a threshold of what the state can withstand on bonded indebtedness, but
Okay,
in theory, that's, at this point in time, it sounds
Do you
fine.
want it brought back to the board as an agenda item, or do you want me to quickly review it for the board now? Here. I mean, my object is to try to move bills out of committee through the board and take positions, you know, in a systematic fashion. If you want more information and it be brought back as a formal board item, I can do that also.
If you can, from my perspective, it's up to the rest of the board, but if you want any information that you have, if you can just get that to me or get it to the rest of us, then at least we have something to review. So next time the discussion comes up, we see it.
Okay.
All right.
Does Mr. Kaler know what the time frame was? The librarian addressed that to some degree, but I can't remember her specific comments about what.
Well, the truth is,
timeliness.
the truth on all these bills is that they've all been returned to the printers. They're being assigned out to policy committees. We are going to do our updating of the watch list on a weekly basis. When they're assigned to policy committees, then hearing dates will start to be set. Usually hearing dates are, once they're set, are 10 to 14 days out, and letters need to be sent out. If we don't have a position stated on a bill, then we just continue to track it, and we don't send out letters in support or opposition. So, my concern is based on the schedule of the board and, the time that it takes agenda items to be processed back. By the time I bring things back to you, your opportunity to be able to get a letter in opposition or support at the policy committee level, which is the critical point that we have to try to meet, we can be challenged there. So I can quickly review for you this bill if you would like, or I can just the risk is that 15-16 will be headed towards a policy committee at sometime in the next 10 to 14 days when we do our update tomorrow or on Friday, and we won't have an opportunity to either come back to the General Government Committee or to this board to be able to take a position on it.
I think that's fine. If you can provide additional information, Supervisor Delbar, I think we'll just let it go at that.
Well, 15, 16, I believe the recommendation from the committee is that we go to support on this.
Right.
So if we can move forward, if
I think
the
there
bill.
was 3 or 4 that were supporting that, so,
Okay, so we have the support for
Yes.
that with the need for additional information.
yep. Anything additional, Mr. Kaler?
Not at this time. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. To the CEO for your report.
Yes, thank you. I'll go through things very quickly for you here, just some highlights I wanted the board to be aware of. Court facilities transfer legislation is moving through the process. Paul is monitoring it. It's had several amendments. We are doing the final review on the Fort Bragg transfer right now, so we think that will be coming to you soon, and then we'll be formulating a strategy with the courts about what to do about Willits and the other remaining agreements. SB 81, I think as you know, I'm serving on the Executive Steering Committee for SB 81. We met on February 19th, and I thought it was interesting today. I was talking to our Chief Probation Officer, Mr. Foreman, and he had a meeting with the probation chiefs, and he was being approached by large counties who wanted to lobby Mendocino County to support them because the rural counties were taking away all of their money. So I thought that was an interesting twist because we are trying to take those funds away from them as much as possible. There was a news article on Lake Mendocino lake levels that I thought was noteworthy. That the Army Corps, and I know Supervisor Delbar had a conference call, and I think a little while ago, but I would be recommending to the board that we refer this to the local water agency manager to see what the potential impacts are of that raising of the lake level and what effect it has on Lake Mendocino and how much is allocated to us. PG&E local government partnership reminds me a little bit of the presentation you had earlier today, but there is a charge assessed on your utility bills called the public goods charge. PG&E in very quick fashion was asking for applications to start a program here in Mendocino County. In discussions with Supervisor Smith, who brought the issue forward to us, the timing is such that it was not sufficient for us to prepare an application and submit it to your board for approval. So I've asked CDC, our local partner, to work with PG&E, and we'll have further details available, but that looks like it has some good potential there. We're looking at a program similar to what Humboldt County does. Copier replacement, you're going to hear on the 18th. We've got a very aggressive schedule to take care of replacing all our copiers with new equipment. I think that will bring us into maybe the 20th century. There is a memo that we're in the final stages of completing. I'll send it out to board members first. We discussed it with department heads last week about executive office direction, where we've asked department heads